This is Namor the Submariner, and according to the Marvel Comics database, he's the hybrid mutant son of an Atlantean and a human. Prince Namor the Submariner is alternatively loved and hated by Earth's surface population, often depending on his actions. Now obviously, Namor is a fictitious character that shouldn't really garner much attention, except that lately, because of the release of the new Black Panther movie, Wakanda Forever, articles about this comic book character are popping up everywhere, and there was a recent article from Screen Rant that caught my attention and brought back to my memory something I had read before. This article is entitled, "Who is Kukulkan? Namor Connection and Deity Explained." In this article it says, Namor is called the feathered serpent god in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, connecting the Marvel Cinematic Universe anti-hero to the deity Kukulkan. The Phase 4 movie introduces Namor and his race of underwater people to the MCU, but Marvel has some notable changes to the mythology. The Black Panther Wakanda Forever trailer confirms another big change for Namor in that he is believed to have connections to a powerful deity, Kukulkan. In this portion from the trailer, one of the characters says this.
They did not call him general or king. They called him Kukulkan, the feather serpent god.
The article says about this statement, Mukabu notes that the people of Talakan do not refer to Namor as a general or king, but instead call him the same name as the feathered serpent god. If you didn't catch it, essentially, the producers of Wakanda Forever have changed the origins of this character to make a connection to an ancient Mesoamerican god named Kukulkan. And just as the trailer said, Kukulkan was worshipped and known as the feather serpent god. As a matter of fact, according to Wikipedia, the name literally means feathered snake. As I mentioned, when I read this article, it brought something back to my mind. And it was the fact that this Mesoamerican god was described as a feathered serpent. Now, much like you, I've seen a lot of snakes in my day, but I've never seen one with feathers. But funny enough, this wasn't the first time that I read about a serpent with feathers. In the book The Story of Redemption, there's a reference to another feathered serpent, and in a moment, you'll see that this serpent is also a type of god. In chapter 4 of this book, it describes the fall of Adam and Eve as they ate the fruit from the forbidden tree in the Garden of Eden. Most of us know the story of the serpent tempting Eve to eat this fruit. However, on page 32 of this book, we find a little more detail regarding how this happened. It says, Satan assumes the form of a serpent and enters Eden. The serpent was a beautiful creature with wings, and while flying through the air, his appearance was bright, resembling burnished gold. I don't think it's a coincidence that the imagery from the movie shows Namor, or Kukulkan, sitting on a throne and wearing apparel that has the appearance of a serpent, also made of gold. I hope you caught that statement from the Story of Redemption. It says that the serpent had wings, in other words, a flying serpent. When you couple this with the fact that in 1 Corinthians chapter 4, it refers to Satan as the god of this world, what we have here is the first mention of the feathered serpent god happening long before the Wakanda Forever trailer, and even before the Mayans worshipped this deity. The serpent's ability for flight was highlighted in Genesis chapter 3 verse 14, when God said to the serpent, "Because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life." In essence, we find in this verse in Genesis that before the fall of mankind, the serpent was actually a creature that had the ability of flight. The Story of Redemption puts it this way. He, the serpent, did not go upon the ground, but went from place to place through the air and ate fruit like a man. Satan entered into the serpent and took his position in the tree of knowledge and commenced leisurely eating the fruit. And after the fall, this ability was removed after God pronounced his curse. So essentially, his wings were clipped. Since the beginning, the serpent has been used as a symbol for Satan, in addition to the references to Satan as a dragon, another flying reptile that pop culture has become obsessed with, thanks to the many movies and shows today. The interest in Kukulkan extends beyond the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as this Mesoamerican god is referenced in a 1975 episode of the animated Star Trek series as well. And he also made another brief appearance in a 2022 episode of the Star Trek series, Lower Decks. This is a quote about Kukulkan from the Star Trek website that says, "With an appearance that resembled a dragon, green snake-like face, yellow eyes, a single pink horn, blue feathers and wings, and a serpentine red and pink body, Kukulkan became known as the winged serpent god, as he was respected for the knowledge he brought. It's interesting that even in the Star Trek canon, Kukulkan was worshipped and looked upon as a bringer of knowledge, just like the serpent in the Garden of Eden introduced Adam and Eve to the knowledge of good and evil. And here's a clip from a documentary on the History Channel, also talking about this supposed bringer of knowledge.
Kukulkan by the Maya is depicted in a number of ways. Sometimes he is human, sometimes he's a serpent. Sometimes we see him emanating from a serpent's head. We know that there's no way that a human being can emerge from a physical serpent. So the serpent must stand for something else, either a construction or a device.
And the message is clear. God Kukulkan descended to the humans. He was a certain time among the humans, he was the teacher of the humans, and then he disappeared again, but with the promise to return one day to the humans.
Without realizing it, the ancient Mayans were actually unknowingly worshiping Satan or Lucifer, and we know this from 1 Corinthians 10 verse 20, which says, "But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to God, and I would not that ye should have fellowship with devils." Basically, Paul is saying that the heathen that worship these various deities were actually worshiping devils or fallen angels, as Satan and his angels will do anything that they can to get worship, even if it's by proxy. Now, does this mean that everyone that sees Wakanda Forever or watches the stunning animation of that 1975 Star Wars cartoon will necessarily end up worshiping Kukulkan or Satan? No, that's obviously not the point. The point that we should take note of is the fact that most people who will be introduced to the fictitious story of the feathered serpent and the connected mythology of a false god of this world have not taken the time to become acquainted with the true story of the original feathered serpent god of this world that was introduced in the book of Genesis. Much like Namor in Wakanda Forever, the true feathered serpent is coming for the surface world and should indeed be looked upon as an enemy. The book of Revelation puts it this way: "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." The key word in that verse is the very last word, time. The real Kukulkan knows that he has a short time, and the weapons of his war are not physical, they are spiritual. And at the end of the day, Satan knows that he has a short time, and he's seeking to get us to waste more and more of our time so that we neglect the preparation necessary to be part of the world to come. In the compilation book Heaven, in chapter 12, there's a sobering statement that encapsulates the war for our thoughts and our time. On page 113, it says, "I have seen an angel standing with scales in his hands, weighing the thoughts and interests of the people of God, especially the young. In one scale were the thoughts and interests tending heavenward. In the other were the thoughts and interests tending to earth. And in this scale were thrown all the reading of storybooks, thoughts of dress and show, vanity, pride, etc. Oh, what a solemn moment. The angels of God standing with scales weighing the thoughts of his professed children, those who claim to be dead to the world and alive to God. The scale filled quickly with thoughts of earth. Vanity and pride went quickly down. Notwithstanding, weight after weight rolled from the scale. The one with the thoughts and interests tending to heaven went up quickly as the other went down. And oh, how light it was. I can relate this as I saw it, but never can I give the solemn and vivid impression stamped upon my mind. This statement encapsulates the point of the war. Old, young, middle-aged, wherever we are in life, we all need to ask ourselves, where do our thoughts lie? How much effort and energy are we putting in to make our calling and election sure? What does the scale of your mind look like? What does the scale of my mind look like? How much time have we wasted? And how much time can we redeem? Each of us will need to take a long look in the mirror to answer that question for ourselves as we choose between the offer of Satan, the original feathered serpent God, and the true God that was lifted up like the serpent in the wilderness on the cross to receive the punishment for our sins. Today, the choice is ours, and I pray that we all make the right choice. God bless.